You picked $200 worth of guitar gear off of Amazon during a live stream. I bought it with my money. It is here. We're going to see if it's good or if it's trash. Let's go ahead and get it all out of the box real quick. I haven't even seen this stuff. And then what we're going to do is some of the stuff we'll be able to just test by looking at it, but some of the stuff we're going to have to plug in. So then we'll plug it in and see what we think. And we'll see, is it a good value as a beginner guitar player, or even as an experienced guitar player, is this stuff that you picked worth it? All right, here it all is. Let's get the big stuff out of the way so that we don't have to deal with it. First, let's look at this guitar stand that you all recommended. Honestly, it's pretty good as far as like the structure. Like, I would trust my guitar to be on it. Once you tighten everything up, it's got the little strappy thing here to go over the neck. I like the way this goes in here because it's keyed so that it can't slide out if the guitar's on it. Now here's the only downside about super inexpensive guitar stands. I would never put a guitar with a really nice finish on here, especially nitrocellulose. This rubber that goes over the protective rubber that protects these things, this cheaper stuff, you can just tell by what it is. I've had enough of these to know that if you put nitrocellulose on this and you leave it on here, whatever chemicals that they use in this rubber will burn the finish. And so you'll come back and your guitar right on the neck will have like a dull spot or even a discolored spot on the neck. So I would not put like a Gibson on here. I would not put, anything with nitrocellulose. My Silver Sky that has a urethane finish on the body, but on nitrocellulose on the neck, I would not use this stand. So I'll leave a link to a stand that I would use. It'll cost a little bit more, but not a lot. But honestly, for most people, this is probably going to be awesome. I bet many of you have this stand. And so if you have like a urethane finish guitar, like a Fender Classic Vibe, for example, perfect. This thing would be awesome. And it was really, really cheap. All right, next on the list, we got this Wingo Capo. I think there's a guitar pick in here too. Let's check these guitar picks. Yeah, so these are the little fake celluloid ones. They won't last long, but they'll get you going. So that's cool. They're just kind of the cheap little guitar picks. They'll wear out quick. All right, Capo. Okay, so this is actually probably not bad either. I don't know how long it will last. Some of this metal that they use doesn't last very long, but it's not bad. What I care about, same thing with the guitar stand, is the rubber on the back. So this is actual rubber. This is not that gross foam that'll burn your finish. I don't know. I'm not an engineer in the respect that I don't know how evenly it clamps. You know what I mean? But, hey, for $8, this would probably get you going on a Capo. And it's like tone wood painted, so that's pretty cool. I don't know what this is. Oh, okay, so somebody really wanted me to buy a slide. So we bought a slide. And this, all right, so this is a glass slide. It does not appear to have a seam in it, which is really good. So you don't want to have a seam in your glass slide, so that seems pretty good. It's very light. It's a lot lighter than most glass slides that I know about, that I've seen and been around. I'm not a big slide player, but I do know that most of them are heavier, like a thicker gauge. But I mean, hey, it doesn't have a seam in it, and it's smooth in its glass, so that's cool. Let's look at this metal one. I was wondering how the edges, yeah, so this is where it's going to be kind of cheap on a cheap slide, is same thing. Now, it does have a seam, but you can't feel it in the plating, but the machining around the edges is really rough and kind of gross. I don't like this. but I do like this, at least, you know, to learn with. All right, next we're going to look at a Levy's Strat, because people were very interested in having, oh man, I like that actually. We'll put this on the guitar when we do our guitar test later and see how it fits, how the eyelets fit. It's pretty heavy duty leather though, and this might chip off over time because it's kind of painted. It's not actual, brass, so that might chip off over time. I tell you what I do like. So it's denim, and then it's got like this leatherette stuff on the back that's pretty grippy. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is actually a really nice strap. I kind of like this. I kind of really like this. Okay, this is another one. Folks were asking, we're talking about straight edges to work on your guitar. Now, people were recommending this because it's relatively cheap by comparison to like the StewMac one or any of the other ones. But here's what you got to worry about, and I can already see that this is one that I would not really recommend. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this. All right, you know what? Screw it, doesn't matter. Okay. People recommend this to me, but I would not, and here is why. This is a water jet piece of equipment, so they use a high strength stream of water to cut this, and either that or it's sheared. I'm not sure which, but the bottom line is this is not a machined edge. This is a cut edge. So there will be inconsistencies in how, yeah, it's not even straight. I mean, I can look down it and see it's not straight. So what I'm saying here, though, this is very interesting, is this is not flat. And then if that's not flat, then you don't know if this is flat. I would recommend, is it Music Nomad actually? They're on Amazon too, and they're like $30, and they use a fly cutter to actually machine these edges after they make the piece, after they cut the piece out, and then they actually use a fly cutter and machine it so that you know it's flatter than this. So this is cool for a quick check, but I would not use it for any kind of precision setup. I would definitely recommend the Music Nomad one. And the Music Nomad one has 3 sides to it. And it's stiffer. So like it's, you know what I mean? It's just better, but I really, the machined edge concerns me. Any of these cheap straight edges that are cut with a water jet like this, I personally would not use. All right, and we have a tuner. You know what? We'll just test. This is a little $5 tuner, but it's USB charged. So I'll open this up and we'll test it when we plug the guitar in. I think this is a pretty easy win. This is the Dunlop 65 guitar cleaning kit. These are pretty rad. I've used this stuff before. It's pretty reasonably priced. You know I'm a Lizard Spit fan. This stuff right here is really good, and it works. So yeah, we'll probably give that away. Of course, the Joyo pedal we will also plug into the guitar and see how good it is. Let's actually just pull it out real quick. Look at the quality of it. Yeah, it's a pedal. It's drive, volume, and tone. And, oh, you can put a battery in it right there without taking it apart, so that's pretty all right. Let's check out some cheap tools. So cheap tools are a thing because we want to have a complete toolkit for our guitar, and this, that's funny, has some things in it. So we have a little screwdriver. We have, those are cool, radius gauges. Now these I would throw in the trash immediately and never use. I know what this is. These are basically welding tip cleaners that they repurpose into fret files, and they're, what you could use these for is cleaning out burrs in your nut, but I would not use them for any kind of actual guitar setup. They're not sharp enough, first of all, and second of all, you would never be, to hold them at the right angle and do everything right, you wouldn't get an accurate setup. But like if you have a burr or your guitar is kind of going out of tune and you just kind of want to clean the slot out, maybe you could use it for that. But personally, I would actually throw those in the trash. I would not use this. I got some fret protectors in here, got a little measuring stick, that's cool. String winder, and a little bit set. As long as these bits are okay, sometimes they're a little cheap and they'll screw up your hardware. I would actually not use the Allen keys at all because usually those are pretty inexpensive and cheesy. These files, and we're going to talk more about files, I would not put these files anywhere near my guitar. They're so rough that you'll never get a good finish, like on a nut or on a saddle. You will create as many burrs as you're trying to fix with those files. So I would not use, I would not recommend this kit at all. It's not a good value because you're going to throw away half of it, or you're going to use it on your guitar and maybe ruin some stuff. There's only a couple of good tools in here, and honestly, I would just stay away from something like this. And yeah, I would honestly, for 40 bucks, I would go get the little StewMac red box, and that has most everything in there. Same thing, let's look at these little files, because somebody said we should get a 3-angle file to work on fret ends. So we got a little file set that included, which that one did not include a 3-angle file. So here's our 3-angle file. Same thing, I would not put this on a guitar because it's too, well, that's the 4-angle. Let's see, hang on, let's grab the 3. Here we go. I would not use this on a guitar, it's too rough. Honestly, I would pony up the dough for the 20 bucks or whatever and get the one from StewMac. Here's a couple of reasons why, because the one from StewMac has a smooth edge that won't chew up your fretboard, where this one does not. It also is much finer than this. One of the things that people don't realize is you're trying to get a nice polished, refined edge on the edge of your fretboard, on the edge of your frets, the end of your frets. But if you use something real rough like this, then you're not really making it any smoother. You might be knocking a burr off, but you're leaving a rough edge behind. And so I would not recommend this. We'll probably use these files around the shop for other stuff. I like to use these to file chrome off the edges of pickups before we solder covers on. So we'll probably use it for that. But I would not use these on nuts or saddles because they're too rough. All right, and we needed a guitar cable. So I bought a very inexpensive guitar cable. Now, you know that I'm a big fan of Runway audio cables, but those cables are pretty spendy. They're about 70 bucks or so. So what we need to do to test these is, first of all, we're going to look at build quality. They're kind of cheap. Let's look in here. Oh, well, you know, that's not terrible. They're shrink wrapped and stuff, shrink tubed and all that. That's actually pretty nice. I'll tell you what, let's test the capacitance. Let me go get my meter. All right, so looks like we're looking at 355 picofarads. So I think this is a 10-foot cable. So we're looking at about 35 picofarads per foot. A good guitar cable is about 20 picofarads per foot. So if you bought, you know, that $70 guitar cable, you would definitely know the difference. Now, that being said, I have seen cheap cables way worse than this. I would not run an amp caster over these cables. I would not let your dog chew them. They're not very quote unquote good. But that's actually a lower number than I was expecting to see, so that's pretty cool. So 35 picofarads per foot, it's kind of terrible, but it's actually not as bad as I've seen. We're going to use these cables when we hook up our guitar pedal, and we're going to see how noisy they are. One more before we go to the guitar test. I pulled the tuner out of the package, and this little thing's pretty neat, actually. Let's see, so let's go ahead and turn it on. And the display is relatively good. Off axis, it kind of goes away, but honestly, that shows worse in the camera than it does in real life. And so it shows better in real life than it does in the camera. It's got an interesting pivot system here. The clip is, for a cheap tuner, actually pretty good. So let's go ahead and throw it on a peg head of a guitar, and we'll tune up a guitar real quick, and then we will see how this pedal sounds. Okay, so we switched to a room mic. We're just doing this kind of basic. One of the things I noticed about this, here, let me get some volume on here, is this cable. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's very microphonic. So there's a lot of noise coming through the cable. And usually what that means is the insulation and the conductor are very loose. So I probably wouldn't recommend this cable. Yeah, it's just not something I would recommend. Okay, let's go ahead and try out the, we should try out the tuner. Oh yeah, this is a really nice tuner, y'all. All right. Okay, so we just got a clean kind of Fender-y kind of amp here. We got the Joyo pedal on the floor down there. I mean, it works. It makes sounds. It's very, very honky. But I guess it's supposed to be a green pedal, so like a TS9 clone maybe. It's very mid-range heavy. But man, it's, it works. So if you're in the market for trying to learn how to put together a signal chain, maybe these things are good. Yeah, it does a thing. I will say when you turn the knobs up and down, they don't do as much as I thought they would do, so maybe there's that. But as a functional overdrive pedal, it seems fine. Oh, also the strap. This strap is like really good. It really grips the strap locks or the strap pins, and I've got like a slick shirt on, and it's nice. It grips your shirt good. I kind of have it in jazz mode here, but it's really nice. I actually really like it. What did we overspend on? Meaning stuff that I bought that I probably shouldn't have bought. None of the tools. None of the tools were good. That's one of those things, if you can't afford good tools, I would definitely just spend some time to save up for some stuff. I'll leave a link to a couple of things from StewMac that would work way better and aren't expensive. Everybody wants to say StewMac is expensive, but the value that you get, that you can actually complete a project on your guitar without doing damage to your guitar, or and having a good result. Like using these cheap files, it's just not going to get you a good result even if you complete the task. In comparison to that, it's a few bucks more, but I think it would really be worth it. Something like this straight edge I wouldn't even use. So I think most, if not all of the tools, I would totally skip, and that's an area where I would kind of elevate the game on that. The guitar polish was really good. The slides were great for learning. Like, you don't want to invest a bunch of money in something you're not sure if you're going to like it. I think that's a great way to do it. What else do we have here? The Capo seemed pretty nice. The guitar pedal, the Joyo overdrive pedal, seemed great. I would skip the cables. If you could spend $30–40 for a cable, that would be probably good. It would be better than a $10 cable. And I think most of the $10 cables that you're going to see on Amazon are going to be in that same ballpark of capacitance and sort of microphonics and stuff. So maybe stepping up the cable game. I mean, it'll work. It'll be fine, but I definitely wouldn't step on it too many times, and I definitely wouldn't play it very loud, because the cable itself will be loud. So just know that. The strap was awesome. The tuner was really good. I like this tuner. Actually, this is going in my little tuner pick jar right over there. I really like that tuner. Yeah, so I think, you know, we had some hits, we had some misses, which is kind of cool. So what does that mean for us on the daily basis? Should we shop for cheap stuff on Amazon? Well, I mean, to get started, I don't see why not. I don't see why not to get started. Again, the tools I would totally stay away from. But all the rest of this stuff, I would say to get started, I think it would be a good thing. And you will also, the cool part about this is you can try a lot of this stuff, and if you end up outgrowing it a little bit, it's not a big investment, right, to begin with. And so, yeah, I'll leave links also. What I'll do is I'll leave a link to what we bought, and then I'll leave a link to maybe another recommendation if you wanted to level up just a little bit. We're not talking boutique stuff here, but just to level up a little bit. And, you know, as we went through that list. But this was really, really fun. Thank you for participating in the live stream and choosing all this stuff, because you chose everything we bought. Also, I want to thank our Patreon supporters and YouTube members, because you're the ones that made all this possible. Oh, the guitar stand is okay for cheap guitars, not for expensive ones. That's what I would say there. I'll leave also a link to something to maybe level that up if you've got a guitar with a nitrocellulose finish on it. There you go. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to upgrade guitar parts on your guitar, you can go to DylanTalksTone and check that stuff out. We'll see you in the next video.